Friends, thank you for being here today. What if I told you that while the world focuses on location advantages and natural resources, they're completely missing the most fundamental currency of the digital economy, time itself? And what happens when everyone realizes that controlling global business hours, financial markets, and 24/7 operations isn't about having the most money or the biggest tech companies, but about owning the geography that spans the most time zones on Earth? Most people don't know that Canada controls the world's most powerful temporal advantage. We span 6 time zones from coast to coast, more than any other country except Russia. This gives us simultaneous access to Asian morning markets, European afternoon sessions, and American evening trading. While other nations sleep, Canadian businesses can maintain continuous operations across global time zones, creating a follow-the-sun economic model that never stops generating revenue. This isn't just about scheduling international conference calls or trading stocks. We're talking about supply chain coordination, remote work management, customer service operations, and financial transactions that require 24/7 coverage across global markets. But here's the question that will reshape digital business strategy. What happens when the economy never sleeps and Canada controls the clock? This is the story of how geography, digital connectivity, and global business cycles are making Canada the temporal headquarters of the world economy, and why the next business breakthrough might come from mastering time zones rather than technology zones. Before we examine Canada's temporal advantages, we need to understand how dramatically the global economy has shifted toward 24/7 operations, and why controlling multiple time zones has become a critical business asset, rather than just a scheduling inconvenience. The numbers reveal the scope of the always-on economy. Global financial markets now trade over $7.5 trillion daily across different time zones, with trading sessions that begin in Sydney, move through Tokyo and Hong Kong, continue in London and Frankfurt, and end in New York. Countries that can participate in multiple trading sessions simultaneously gain enormous advantages in arbitrage opportunities and market responsiveness. The remote work revolution has accelerated this temporal economy transformation. Over 40% of the global workforce now works remotely, at least part-time, creating demand for businesses that can coordinate operations across multiple time zones. Companies need customer service, technical support, and management coverage that spans global business hours. Supply chain management has become a 24/7 operation, as just-in-time manufacturing requires continuous coordination between suppliers, manufacturers, and distributors operating in different time zones. Disruptions in one time zone must be managed and adjusted in real time across global operations. Digital services and cloud computing operate continuously, requiring technical support, monitoring, and management across all time zones. Major cloud providers need staff and operation centers positioned to provide immediate response to issues, regardless of when they occur globally. Cryptocurrency markets never close, trading continuously across global exchanges. Countries with coverage across multiple time zones can monitor and participate in crypto trading opportunities that occur at different hours, maximizing potential returns from volatile digital assets. International project management increasingly requires follow-the-sun development models, where work progresses continuously as projects move between teams in different time zones. Software development, engineering projects, and consulting services can achieve faster completion times by utilizing temporal handoffs. The most significant shift is toward global customer service expectations. Consumers now expect immediate response to inquiries, technical support, and service requests regardless of their local time. Companies that can provide true 24/7 coverage across time zones gain significant competitive advantages. This temporal economy revolution is creating new forms of competitive advantage based on geographic positioning rather than traditional business assets. Countries that span multiple time zones can capture value from time-based arbitrage opportunities that single time zone nations cannot access. Now, let's examine what Canada actually possesses in terms of temporal coverage and how our 6 time zone span creates unique business opportunities. Our advantages go far beyond just having offices in different cities. We possess integrated temporal capabilities that span global business cycles. Let's start with the sheer scope of our temporal reach. Canada spans 6 time zones from Newfoundland time, UTC 3:30 in the east, to Pacific time, UTC 8 in the west. This 4.5-hour differential provides coverage that overlaps with every major global business region during their peak operating hours. When Canadian businesses in Newfoundland begin their day at 9 a.m. local time, it's already 1:30 p.m. in London, allowing participation in European afternoon markets. When Pacific Coast operations extend until 6 p.m. local time, it's 10 a.m. the following day in Sydney, enabling coordination with Asian morning business hours. This temporal span means Canadian businesses can maintain continuous operations with domestic staff, eliminating the need for expensive offshore operations centers or night shift premiums. A customer service operation can hand off calls from Atlantic Canada in the morning to Pacific Canada in the evening, providing 12+ hours of coverage with normal business hour staffing. Our financial services sector demonstrates how temporal advantages translate into economic value. Toronto's financial district operates during North American business hours, while maintaining connections to London morning sessions and Asian evening markets. Vancouver's financial operations can coordinate with Asian morning sessions, while connecting to Toronto afternoon trading. Canadian investment firms can execute trades across global markets using domestic operations, capturing arbitrage opportunities that single time zone competitors cannot access. Currency trading, commodity markets, and international equities all benefit from temporal coverage that spans global trading sessions. The technology sector leverages temporal advantages through follow-the-sun development models. Canadian software companies can maintain continuous development cycles by coordinating teams across time zones, accelerating product development, and reducing time to market for new technologies. Technical support operations demonstrate another temporal advantage. Canadian companies can provide 24/7 customer support using domestic call centers that operate during normal business hours in different time zones. This eliminates language barriers and cultural differences that often complicate offshore support operations. Supply chain management benefits from temporal coordination capabilities. Canadian logistics companies can monitor and manage global shipping operations continuously, responding to delays, customs issues, and coordination challenges as they occur across different time zones. Mining and resource companies utilize temporal advantages to coordinate global operations. Canadian mining companies with international operations can maintain continuous oversight and management across multiple continents using domestic management teams positioned in appropriate time zones. To understand how this translates into competitive advantages, we need to look at specific industries and business models that benefit from temporal arbitrage and how Canadian companies are capturing value from time zone coverage. The Forex trading industry provides the clearest example of temporal arbitrage opportunities. Currency markets trade continuously, Sunday evening through Friday evening, with peak trading volumes occurring during overlapping business hours between major financial centers. Canadian Forex traders can participate in the Asian session, Sunday evening to Monday morning Canadian time, the London session, Monday morning to afternoon, and the New York session, Monday afternoon to evening. This tri-session coverage allows Canadian traders to capture opportunities across all major currency trading periods. The cryptocurrency market demonstrates even more dramatic temporal advantages. Crypto trading occurs 24/7 across global exchanges, with significant price movements and trading volumes occurring at different hours. Canadian crypto trading operations can monitor and trade across Asian, European, and American sessions using domestic teams. International consulting services benefit from temporal coordination capabilities. Canadian consulting firms can work with Asian clients during Canadian morning hours, European clients during afternoon hours, and American clients during evening hours, maximizing billable time utilization across global client bases. E-commerce operations leverage temporal advantages for global customer service and order processing. Canadian e-commerce companies can provide immediate response to customer inquiries and order issues across global markets without expensive offshore operations or night shift staffing. The remote work management industry has created new opportunities for Canadian companies to provide coordination services for global distributed teams. Canadian project managers can facilitate handoffs between team members in different time zones, ensuring continuous progress on international projects. Online education and training services benefit from temporal coverage. Canadian educational institutions can offer live online classes that accommodate students in multiple time zones, expanding market reach without requiring multiple program deliveries. Digital marketing agencies can coordinate global campaigns across time zones, optimizing social media posting, advertising campaigns, and content delivery for maximum effectiveness across international markets. Telemedicine and remote healthcare services can provide consultation and monitoring services across time zones, expanding access to Canadian healthcare expertise for international patients. The gaming industry utilizes temporal advantages for global server management, customer support, and live events that accommodate players across different time zones simultaneously. I want to pause here because this raises an interesting strategic question that I'd love to hear your thoughts on. As the global economy becomes more time zone dependent, should Canadian businesses focus on maximizing our temporal advantages for competitive gain, or should we use these capabilities to provide better global services regardless of profit optimization? This choice could define how Canadian companies compete internationally and how we position ourselves in the global digital economy. What's your perspective on leveraging our time zone advantages? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Beyond just business operations, Canada's temporal positioning is creating opportunities to become the global headquarters for international coordination, remote work management, and 24/7 service industries that could provide lasting competitive advantages. International project coordination represents one of the most promising opportunities for Canadian companies to leverage temporal advantages. Global projects increasingly require continuous management across multiple time zones, creating demand for coordination services that can maintain oversight throughout global business cycles. Canadian project management companies are developing specialized capabilities for managing international teams, coordinating work handoffs between time zones, and ensuring continuous progress on global initiatives. These capabilities are becoming increasingly valuable as companies adopt distributed work models. The remote work revolution has created new demands for temporal coordination services. Companies with distributed teams need management systems that can coordinate work across time zones, schedule meetings that accommodate global participants, and maintain team cohesion despite temporal separation. Canadian companies are pioneering remote work management platforms and services that utilize our temporal advantages to provide better coordination for international distributed teams. These platforms can offer management services that span global business hours using domestic Canadian teams. International conference and event management benefits from temporal coordination capabilities. Canadian event management companies can coordinate global virtual events that accommodate participants across multiple time zones, providing better service than single time zone competitors. The translation and interpretation industry leverages temporal advantages to provide continuous services across global markets. Canadian language service providers can offer immediate translation services during business hours in multiple global regions using domestic linguist teams positioned in appropriate time zones. Financial services coordination represents another growth opportunity. Canadian financial service companies can provide continuous monitoring and management services for international investment portfolios, responding to market changes and opportunities as they occur across global trading sessions. Customer relationship management services can utilize temporal advantages to provide continuous support and engagement for global client bases. Canadian CRM service providers can maintain active customer relationships across international markets without expensive offshore operations. Global supply chain monitoring and management services benefit from continuous oversight capabilities. Canadian logistics companies can provide real-time monitoring and problem resolution for international shipping and supply chain operations. Business process outsourcing services can leverage temporal advantages to provide comprehensive coverage for international clients. Canadian BPO providers can offer services that span global business hours while maintaining domestic operations and cultural alignment. However, maximizing Canada's temporal advantages requires strategic infrastructure development, workforce coordination, and technology investments that many businesses don't fully appreciate. Telecommunications infrastructure is critical for supporting temporal business operations. High-speed internet connectivity, reliable voice communications, and video conferencing capabilities must be available across all Canadian time zones to support continuous global operations. Workforce development and coordination systems are essential for managing teams across multiple time zones. Canadian businesses need management systems, scheduling platforms, and coordination tools that can effectively manage temporal handoffs and maintain productivity across time zone transitions. Technology platforms specifically designed for temporal coordination can provide competitive advantages for Canadian businesses. These platforms must integrate scheduling, project management, communication, and coordination capabilities optimized for multi-time zone operations. Regulatory frameworks need to address the unique challenges of temporal business operations. Employment standards, taxation policies, and business regulations must accommodate companies that operate continuously across multiple time zones using domestic Canadian workforce. Education and training programs should prepare Canadian workers for temporal business operations. Business schools, technical training programs, and professional development should include temporal coordination, international business timing, and global market awareness. International partnerships are important for maximizing temporal advantages. Canadian companies need relationships with businesses and service providers in other time zones to complement our temporal coverage and extend global reach. Cultural competency development is essential for Canadian businesses serving global markets across time zones. Understanding business customs, communication preferences, and cultural expectations in different regions enhances the effectiveness of temporal business operations. If you're finding this analysis of Canada's temporal transformation valuable, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us continue producing in-depth analysis of the business and economic trends that are reshaping our competitive landscape. The temporal economy represents one of the most significant but underappreciated aspects of global business transformation. Countries that can effectively coordinate operations across multiple time zones will gain competitive advantages in an increasingly connected and continuous global marketplace. Canada possesses temporal advantages that are impossible for most other countries to replicate. Our 6 time zone span provides coverage that overlaps with every major global business region. Our stable telecommunications infrastructure and educated workforce can support sophisticated temporal coordination operations. But possessing these temporal advantages is not the same as leveraging them strategically. Canadian businesses and policymakers need to recognize the competitive opportunities created by our unique temporal positioning and develop strategies to capitalize on these advantages. The next decade will be critical for establishing Canada's role in the temporal economy. The investments in infrastructure, workforce development, and business strategy we make now will determine whether Canada becomes a global leader in temporal coordination or simply provides time zone coverage for other countries' business operations. The choices we make will affect not just our business competitiveness, but our entire economy as global business operations become more dependent on continuous temporal coordination. Countries that fall behind in temporal capabilities will find themselves increasingly disadvantaged in global markets that never sleep. Friends, we are living through the emergence of time as the ultimate business competitive advantage. While the world's attention focuses on technology innovations and financial resources, the real transformation may be happening in the coordination of global business operations across time zones. Canada has been dealt an exceptional hand in this temporal revolution. Our geography spans the time zones needed to coordinate global business operations. Our infrastructure provides the connectivity needed to support continuous coordination. Our workforce has the skills needed to manage complex temporal operations. The question is not whether Canada can become a major player in the temporal economy. We already have the geographic foundation. The question is whether we'll have the vision and commitment to build the business capabilities, infrastructure investments, and workforce development needed to leverage our temporal advantages strategically. The clocks are ticking, the markets are trading, and the global economy is operating continuously across time zones around the world. Canada has the temporal coverage to coordinate those operations, the infrastructure to support global connectivity, and the opportunity to profit from time-based arbitrage. What we do with this temporal opportunity will determine not just our business competitiveness, but our role in a global economy where time zone coverage shapes everything, from financial trading to remote work coordination to international project management. The temporal economy is here, and it runs on the rhythm of global business hours. Canada can either master this temporal symphony or watch others conduct the orchestra of time. Thank you for joining me for this exploration of Canada's temporal empire. What aspects of our time zone advantages do you think offer the most business potential? Should we focus on financial services, remote work coordination, or international project management? Share your insights below, and I'll see you in the next analysis of the forces shaping our temporal future.